everyone, I am Azib Zafar and today I have with me Yusra Majid. Hi Yusra, how are you doing?
I'm great, Mazib. How are you?
I'm good. Our topic of discussion today is the effect of social media on our society and its other aspects. So Yusra, first of all, I would like to ask you, what do you think is the most popular social media platform these days and why?
So, I think the most important media platform that we have currently, which is widely used by teenagers, has to be also not just teenagers, but also adults. It
Like
has
everyone around us. Yeah.
exactly. It has to be Instagram, and I think it influences people. I think how Instagram has influenced people is amazing, but I also think that it has its negative aspects also.
Yeah.
Like people sort of like go into depression, anxiety if they cannot be a certain personality. Don't you agree with that?
I do, but also the creator tools that Instagram has provided people with, they're like amazing. It's a
Absolutely.
whole world out there.
It's amazing. I think I personally know someone actually who likes making these Instagram reels because like the amount of views that you get on your reels and how your followers, they just increase within a day. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's amazing.
So I think that Instagram is playing an amazing role in, as just influencing our society.
Yes. So the influence and reach of the media has become far too powerful, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that it's like I think there was a time when people did not even sort of knew what was happening in the world. Right now, we know whatever is happening. For example, the what's happening in Iran, the Masami's case
Yeah,
and
okay.
everything. I
Yes.
think how media's reach to subcontinents where there weren't even televisions like ages ago, obviously decades ago, but now how people are sort of like retrieving
Yeah, it has the
information.
power to reach above and beyond. Like news
Absolutely.
travels faster than anything these days.
Absolutely, it's amazing. And I just feel that now how our, students our age, even younger, they're so into it. They love listening what's happening. They love
Yes.
researching. I think so many people actually are also on Twitter. Like I know so many of my friends are on Twitter and they have so much information about what's happening in the world. And I sometimes even I'm shook, like, oh, this happened?
Yeah, I know. I think Twitter is a little boring, but then it has like amazing news.
Somebody said it in a really funny way that, all the dumb people are on Instagram and Twitter is for the intellectual.
Okay,
I mean,
so
that
I'm not on
was
Twitter
that
like
was
that.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
just also disappointing because
yeah,
so many people are not into Twitter because of what
because
you
it
said.
it has all the serious
Yeah,
news and everything, so
exactly.
people are
It's
more interested on the fun side of the
I think
media.
Twitter is more formal.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yes,
So, yeah.
it's used by all the government officials and everyone.
Exactly, true. So also, what do you think, Mazib? I have a question for you. What do you think how like media, we're talking about news, we're talking about Instagram, how that is affecting our society. So have you like do you personally know someone who's been affected in a negative way
Yeah,
by
I know so many people who have been affected. Like, first of all, you can take like the beauty standards that are shown on television
absolutely
or the
yes.
media. So people get influenced by that a lot. We have to look a certain way. And other than that, in politics, you can see ke what they show on media. Uske baad, some people make that their opinion. They don't have any research of their own. So their opinion is nothing but anything that comes from the media.
True.
So that
And
is how it's
And
influencing.
also, this is something that one of my instructor was saying that so many students I'm talking about
Yeah.
currently, that even they're media students, even you and I both know people around us that they're media students and they're studying news and what's happening in
Yes.
politics, but they come up with these statements which aren't true. So yesterday, I actually saw that 15,000 protesters were actually sentenced to
Oh
death
my God.
in Iran for
I didn't know
protesting.
that.
But do you know that I actually researched on Washington Post and Al Jazeera, but only two of them were actually sentenced. The rest were obviously because they said that they broke the security code, so they were only sentenced to prison for a
Prison, yeah.
specific time.
That makes sense because they broke
Yeah.
the law. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just that how media is actually
Yeah.
empowering people to
And
come up.
how are they interpreting the
Yes,
facts?
exactly. And
Fabricating the
this is the
facts,
reason
actually.
they are putting them behind bars. I mean, that's another debate for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the, media is being so powerful now. It's amazing. but also it has its like positive and
Yeah,
negative
everything has its
aspects.
pros and
Yes.
cons. So, do you think children should have access to social media? Like, do you see the people on Instagram and TikTok and children of age like 12, 13, 14? So, do you think it's right?
Um, I personally feel. I mean, I come. I have seen the world, and when I was 12 or even 13, I still remember that I was, I think, 16 when I first made Facebook account, and even that was
I was the
monitored.
same age.
I was restricted and monitored by my parents. Like my account and what activity, what was I doing? They used to check the history, and like they were afraid because they didn't
Yeah,
want.
makes
Yeah,
sense. I
because they didn't
understand.
want me to have access to things that weren't age appropriate. So I think that children should have access. I mean, there's nothing wrong because this is what they're growing up in, especially if
Yeah,
we talk about Generation Z now. So Gen Z is growing up, in
it's the
these.
world of social media these
Exactly.
days.
So we can't stop them from doing because, like even in our homes, if we have kids, we can see they want to watch YouTube while eating food. So you can't really
Yeah.
restrict kids from being on social media platforms. But I do think that not
There should
everything.
be check and balance by
Yeah,
parents and some
exactly. There
restrictions,
is.
right? Yeah.
So there has to be that sense of censorship. You know. So
Yes.
like the age appropriate, like YouTube has, Netflix has an
Yeah,
age
Netflix
appropriate
has to.
as an age restriction. Talking about censorship, Ansip, um, like there was when there was a pro-Palestine content on
Yeah,
Instagram. Do you remember how it was
I do.
censored?
I do, and yes, even on social media, and apart from that, the news houses in Palestine were burned down, ताकि no one in the world knows what's going on in there.
Yes.
And everyone was, and I think the social media, it has immense power. Like everyone was standing up for Palestine, Americans and all the other people जिनको पहले नहीं भी बहुत ज़्यादा पता था, and then they knew, and there was reposting.
And
Even I was reposting a lot those days because I thought it has the power to reach.
how that just us sitting in our homes
Yeah.
posting on social media,
It created a
Instagram,
havoc. Like they were legit scared that everyone is talking about
and
Palestine.
there were protests carried out everywhere.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about how media influences, I think this is the perfect example to put out there that we were sitting in our homes, in our rooms, posting
Yes.
online, and that powerful, that
It was
public
speaking.
opinion,
Yes.
it was like all over
It was.
London, New Zealand, Australia, everywhere protests were carried out.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But obviously, talking about, like, we were just talking about censorship, how it has to be age restricted and
Yes.
everything. But
Right.
obviously, again, I think this is a negative thing that media only censors things that they want to censor.
Yeah, the people who have the power of
Yes,
media, and they are
absolutely.
controlling it, so they show what they want to show and
Yes.
how they want to show, so that the people have a certain perspective about it. They can't think much about it अपने पास से कुछ भी उस तरह वाला. So
Yeah.
there's a certain interpretations of the
Yeah,
news
and
and
this is what they're
facts.
actually trying to do, right? They're trying to give out headlines and statements like I
Yeah.
told you about the 15,000 people that it was a wrong false statement, but it made its rounds in, on social media because
It never occurred to me much before. Okay, we also interpret news as we want to, or like the first thing it clicks in our
yes.
mind. We don't go much into it, we don't research much into
Yeah.
it. The thing they're showing on television or news, we just absorb it and make assumptions about it.
This
And
was
most of the time, our interpretations are not even true.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you remember, but there was actually, I'm not going to name the news agency, obviously, for,
Sure.
reasons.
Yeah.
But there was this, that was, they were actually accused that 22 men raped a woman.
Oh.
Um, it was it was a jeans factory. And
Yeah.
so
I
it was,
remember that
I
scandal.
shared it actually because I didn't share it before, but I saw everyone sharing it, and I just felt that, I need to speak up about it too, because as a woman, I should be supportive of other women. And if there is something
Yes,
that's,
absolutely.
if something is wrong, like if something is going wrong, I should, put it
You
out
can use
there.
the power that you can
Yes.
to share
But
awareness. Yes.
in a few days of matter, I'm not obviously sure if this was correct, and I'm not going to say anything to the woman because that'd be plain wrong. But they actually cleared it. The statement was cleared that it was a false statement. It was a rumor,
Oh, yeah.
and so many women who work and still work in that factory, they actually
And you know what's surprising is the minute this news came, everyone was reposting about it. No one
yes,
cared to check the facts. So I think this is a downside of the social media, that it's very easy to spread rumors and fake news and make
absolutely.
assumptions and allegations,
Yeah.
etc.
And I think this is where also a person can be defamed. Talking about Amir Liaquat Hussain.
Yeah.
So this is also, like we were talking in earlier when start of the program, we were talking about how it causes depression and anxiety in
Yeah.
people. So I think like how sources suggest that Amir Liaquat was defamed, and this
And
caused,
so many times.
yeah, and so I think this caused anxiety, it
Well, we don't
depre-
know the facts
yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean
Yeah.
probably, but I think it's just really sad how social media can influence such an amazing, great personality that he was, and the name he had. It's not about like if people liked him or not. It's about
Yeah.
the name he had in the media. It's
And
it's
it's like it's
disappointing.
been there. We were growing up and we used to watch
Yes.
his Ramzan transmissions and
Yeah,
all
I
the
was a
shows.
fan
Yes.
actually. It's like I was a huge fan of Amir Liaquat, back in the day when I used to watch Alim online on Geo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I used to watch him, but obviously, then there were times when I wasn't very supportive, and obviously that's my opinion
Yeah,
of,
ups and downs come
yeah.
in everything. Yeah.
And so yeah, that's about it.
So moving on, do you think people have started relying on social media way too much? Like, you see introverts, they're very comfortable online talking, but in real, they don't make plans and they're very shy. So they use social media as an armor for themselves. They can just stay in their room and type some things
Don't
and
you
talk
think
to
that's
friends.
all of us nowadays? We don't want to go anywhere. We just want to
That
be.
is true. I mean, I make plans and then I cancel them at
And
last
sometimes we
minute.
want to cancel the plans,
Yeah,
but yeah, no.
the
So
temptation is always there.
so no, but coming back to your question, yes, I think it's very true because I've seen this happening within my home, and sometimes I'm also the same personality,
Yeah.
but I'm not an introvert, so I can't really relate to people who do that. But I think that online communication has become so easy, and I think it's like you are being your two, it's a split
Yes,
personality.
it's. I was thinking the same thing, and I was going to say it. It has like become two personas, and you can just
Yes.
and online you can just say anything about yourself because the person doesn't meet you,
Yes.
so you don't
Yes.
know.
A funny, recently something happened in my family. I mean, so there is this person, okay, so I don't really like personally know him. So, he, because like, it's just like, dur ka cousin keh lo say. So he is like, sort of like shy and everything, okay, so, and the way he portrays himself on social media, he is exact opposite. He makes reels, he makes TikTok videos, and he
And he
is,
makes them like solo videos.
yes.
Oh, okay.
So I was really
That's much easier.
yeah, but like I was still like shocked because like he's putting himself out there, and apparently
And
there
at the
is,
same time, he's not in his
and
real
he's
life.
really shy.
He's not.
He
Yeah.
wouldn't talk. I mean, if you sit with him, he wouldn't even talk. So that's, I
Yeah.
mean, wow. This is like going back to your question. I think this is what's happening, and this is a downside. But also, I think that introverts are who they are, and if they don't want to interact, really, they won't do that. And no matter
Yeah.
how hard we try to push them, to,
Obviously they feel safe in their
yeah,
bubble. They can go online, talk, and
absolutely,
then be offline, and everything just
yes.
oops, yes.
It's, yeah. So it's.
Okay. So it was great chatting to you. Wrapping it up here, we just had a little discussion on effects of social media on our society, and I think I enjoyed it so much,
I
and I
enjoyed it.
hope
I
you
loved
guys
the
enjoyed it
show.
much. So thank you. Bye
Thanks for
bye.
watching. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time, next Saturday on Saturday Night Live. Bye bye. Through various platforms. So it has to be. कट कर देंगे दोबारा बोलती हूँ ठीक है अच्छा सही
Yes.
अच्छा
Okay, bus.
हो गया सर हमारा ठीक है चलिए आप नाराज ना होए